The term breakout in the English language is a term characterized by a sudden significant improvement or an increase in popularity. In the terms of this video, a breakout season, I'm just going to define as a season where a player finally hits that prime time stage and shows what he can do on a consistent basis at a high level of play. In the NBA, there are players each season who have a breakout season. What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Faxon, and I'm here to spit the facts on the 5 players who I believe will have a breakout season. To start out this list, at number 1, I have Justice Winslow. Justice Winslow is a 6'6" forward/guard who was a 10th overall pick in the 2015 draft to the Miami Heat, but was recently traded to the Memphis Grizzlies. Winslow averages on his career 11.3 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game. He signed a 3-year, $39 million contract extension in October of 2018 with the Miami Heat before they decided to part ways with him. I believe overall Justice will have a breakout season simply because of the players he will be around and the role he will have to fit playing alongside John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. Winslow can develop into an Andre Iguodala type player if he stays healthy, as his somewhat young career has been riddled with injuries so far that have all affected his development. In November of 2016, he suffered a wrist injury that was thought to be minor but ended up being something that kept him sidelined for a while. Moving forward, in January of 2017, he tore his labrum and was unable to shoot the ball and was sidelined once again. And then when he returned, he got a knee injury and was sidelined once again. But after his return in the 2017-2018 season, Eric Spoelstra played him at point guard for the last 20 games of the season to utilize his court vision and passing abilities, and also because there were injuries to players like Dion Waiters and Goran Dragic. During this stretch of games, Justice went on to average 11 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and around 2.5 assists per game. At this time, he also improved his driving shooting percentage from 43% to 60%. This was a major improvement as the Miami system has always relied on the drive and kick or drive and shoot type of play style. On the defensive side, Justice has always been on point. It's just his offense at times can be a little lackluster. Paul George went on to compare him to himself and Kawhi Leonard once, saying that on the defensive side, he's proven that he can be that guy given the opportunity, and eventually the offense will come, just like it did for him and Kawhi. Playing alongside John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., all Justice will really have to do is catch and shoot or make off-ball plays for himself or others, and be a force on the defensive end, which he's already proved he can do. If Justice can have a healthy season, I can see the Memphis Grizzlies forming a mini big three of John Morant, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Justice Winslow. Second on my list, I have Markelle Fultz. Markelle doesn't really need an introduction here, as we all know he was a first overall pick in the 2017 draft to the Philadelphia 76ers, and was thought to be the final piece of the quote-unquote process. Markelle was drafted over players like Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox, and Bam Adebayo, who are all putting up pretty decent numbers, I'd say. Markelle's career so far has been affected with an injury that affected his shooting motion, and he completely had to rework his jump shot, and for his first 2 seasons in the league, he played a combined 33 games, averaging 8 points per game, about 3.5 assists per game, and also about 3.5 rebounds per game. His free throw percentage during this span was absolutely terrible, especially for a guard, shooting it at 56%, and in general, it just looked painful for him to shoot. After 2 years, the 76ers decided to trade him to the Orlando Magic, where he played a total of 66 games before the season was ended short by coronavirus. He went on to average 12 points per game, 5 assists per game, and 3 rebounds per game, all on pretty good efficiency for a young guard, while increasing his free throw percentage to 72%, which isn't amazing, but much better than before, and it shows the work that he has put in. Markelle will have a breakout season simply because he's getting a chance to develop on his own time with a young Magic team that also is great on the defensive end, as Markelle has always been solid on the defensive end. Along with players like Jonathan Isaac and Aaron Gordon, Fultz can be an almost true point guard type player who has a great finishing ability around the rim and can always make the timely pass. All he needs now is that time to develop and get a better feel for the NBA game, while also getting a good feel for his teammates and where their spots will be. My third pick for this list is Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole was the 28th overall pick to the Golden State Warriors in the 2019 draft, and is a 6'4 guard who was instant offense off the bench. Poole is a knockdown shooter from the three-point line. Even with the struggles early in his rookie season that made the Warriors decide to send him to the G League for a couple games, where during this stretch of 3 games, he went on to average 26 points per game on 46% from the field and 42% from the three-point line, in about 36 minutes per game. During his season on the Warriors, if you watch them play, you can see this rookie had an almost young D'Angelo Russell type feel to his game, which is funny because he played with them for a majority of the season before D'Lo was traded to the Timberwolves. Poole played a total of 57 games in the 2019-2020 season, once again before it was ended by Rona, and averaged 14.2 points per game, 3 rebounds per game, and 4 assists per game off the bench, playing around 20 minutes per game. Now, I know you can say these are empty stats for a bad team, but this is the Warriors we're talking about, a team that is known for building talent. I put Poole on this list over Eric Paschall simply because I think he will have a bigger role on the Warriors next year, with Curry returning and Klay playing limited minutes when he returns from his ACL injury. All Poole has to do is run the Warriors' fast-paced offense and play somewhat good defense, and he will be seen as a young star on a championship team when all their stars are healthy. At number 4, I have Taco Fall. Yeah, Taco Fall. I really don't feel like he needs an introduction here, but if you've been under a rock for a couple years, Taco Fall is a 7'6" center. Yes, I said a 7'6" center who was drafted in the second round by the Celtics. Taco spent a majority of his rookie season in the G League, playing a total of 29 games, averaging 13 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, and 3 blocks per game, and about 23 minutes of play. He will play for the Celtics in 6 games though, where in 4 minutes of play, he averaged 3.2 points per game, 1.8 rebounds per game, and not even a block per game, which is kind of bad for the fact that he's 7'6", on 75% shooting. Yes, I know these stats really aren't that impressive, but if you put him on per 36, his stats go insane. Averaging about 28 points per game, 16 rebounds per game, and 3 blocks per game, with a plus-minus of 10.4. Yeah, you see where I'm getting at now? Taco has the potential to be a great player based solely off his height and his impact he can have on the defensive end. And with a coach like Brad Stevens, if he can find a way to incorporate this behemoth into the system without suffering on pick-and-roll offense from opposing teams, Taco will be a much better version of Manute Bol, George Murchison, or Sean Bradley. As outside of Manute, these players weren't really given the right time to develop, and you saw it in their game. But the Celtics see the potential in Taco, and that's why they left him in the G League so he can develop. And hopefully, after his own time, he can be a breakout star. To end out my list, at number 5, I have Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson is a prime example of a talented player in a bad situation, as he plays for the Knicks. Yeah, the Knicks, yeah. We all know how that's going for him. He was drafted in the second round of the 2018 draft and is an athletic defensive stud and gives you DeAndre Jordan type vibes with his overall length. If the Knicks can somewhat get a competent defensive scheme, Mitchell could be a great centerpiece, as he's already shown to be one of the better shot blockers in his career. He also can provide some bit of offense on pick and roll, as he's athletic and long enough to go up there and catch a lob. Paired with the right point guard and the right defensive system, Robinson could emerge as a top center in the league in the same ways that Rudy Gobert did. Well, there you have it. Those are my top 5 players that I believe will have a breakout season if 1, they stay healthy, 2, the system that they're in develops correctly, or 3, the system that they're in gets back to the level it used to be at. If you're still here and you enjoyed this video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.
step. Robinson wouldn't allow him the rim.